had this image of you inside my head. My lonely heart, it feels like it's hanging from a thread. You call and then you don't. You play games with my mind. With me, baby, won't you be kind? All they say about you is that you like to play, and the feelings of these ladies turn out like lumps of clay. You call and then you don't. Mind a victim this time. With me, sugar, won't you be kind? Won't you be kind? Won't you be kind? You never know if it's me who could be your only one, who can love you like no other. Can't you get with it, brother? Or else you'll be left behind. All I'm asking from you is to be kind. Every time I'm near you, each time I feel your touch. I never did expect I'd be wanting you this much. I fall and then I stop, don't know which way to climb. With my feelings, won't you be kind? Won't you be kind? Won't you be kind? You never know if it's me who could be your only one, who can love you like no other. Can't you get with it, brother? Or else you'll be left behind. All I'm asking from you is to be kind. I knew you were a player before we even met. Don't make it something you would regret. Don't create confusion, you'll be sorry if you don't do me right. Say goodbye to love, just say goodnight. Won't you be kind? Won't you be kind? You never know if it's me who could be your only one, who can love you like no other. Can't you get with it, brother? Or else you'll be left behind. All I'm asking from you is to be kind. Be kind, yeah. Be kind, ooh. You never know. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind.
There we go, everybody. Once again, that was Adjeng with her song called Be Kind here on Easy Rock Plugged In with yours truly. My name is Shai, and we're finally getting the program going on properly. Looking at you, tech team. No judgment, mahal ko pa rin kayo. It's okay. But anyway, ayan, Adjeng, of course, is making waves in the music industry with her voice, with her artistry, but most especially with her advocacy. I love that song, Be Kind. You know, when you first hear it, it definitely sounds like a love song. You know, because we all talk about how we want a partner who's kind, di ba ganun? But there's actually a lot more to that. So could you share to us what that is?
Actually, DJ Shai, thank you for having me. I just felt na nung sinulat ko yung Be Kind, when I wrote that, it was actually inspired by many friends who were going through a lot of difficulty dealing with people who were insincere in their intentions. So there was a lot of not just gaslighting, but also misleading comments. Some people were feeling that they had questions they had to deal with about whether this person was pursuing them because he was showing intentions, and then would not act the same way.
Yes.
There were a lot of inconsistencies, and I felt that because the person on the receiving end was always a victim of insincerity, there was always a lot of mental health questions, diba, that sprouted up, and I felt that I think people need to have that message, to hear that message that we need to be kind. We don't know what people are going through. We don't know the battles people are fighting. So whether that's in relationships or friendships, the message still prevails that you have to
Be kind.
Yeah.
There you go. Di ba ang galing? Again, it definitely started off as a love song or something about relationships in general, but there's so much more to it. And in general, yes, that's right, everybody. Be kind. Well, how about what led you to becoming a person who is a mental health ambassador? Yeah, what triggered you into writing? Well, you mentioned about the story earlier, but how is it about you becoming a mental health ambassador for your music now?
Well, last year when I was releasing a lot of my solo songs, I realized that I wasn't just writing love songs just for them to enjoy. I feel that there was a need to have messages that would actually encourage people to think, act, and feel. And in writing, when you're an artist, I feel that you have a purpose. And I think that it's also interesting that we can maximize our capacities by being a blessing to others, whether it's allowing them to open up, whether it's encouraging them to feel that they're in a safe space to just be. And I think that, yeah, being a mental health advocate, talking about mental health matters, I think what we zero in is really allowing yourself to ask for help, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to feel that it's okay to not feel positive for that particular time, but allowing yourself to process things one step at a time.
I love that. And it's so important to talk about mental health now kasi nga, it was such a stigma for the longest time. I mean, a lot of people now say something like, wala namang ganyan dati. Hindi naman uso ang mental health dati. Well, it's only because nobody talked about it.
And nobody wanted to feel judged, I think.
Yes, exactly.
But I think that when we take the stigma out of mental health matters, I think people are able to feel freer to describe,
discuss, to talk about it.
Yeah, describe how they feel, and they know that if they're in a safe space, like I said earlier, it's going to be easier for you to understand others, to gain more empathy also, and I think we go back to being kind also, because not just being kind to others, but being kind to ourselves too.
Exactly.
We have to learn to forgive ourselves also.
And it's so one of the toughest thing to do, grabe. I'm sure we all know that. Sidebar, first off, maliban sa sobrang ganda ng singing voice mo, you have a beautiful talking voice.
Oh, thank you.
Pwede kang maging reporter, but please don't take our jobs. Don't take any of our jobs here on MBC, but you have a really beautiful speaking voice as well. I just had to throw that out there. But anyway, moving on to the interview. So we discovered that you appeared in a newspaper article, a bunch of them actually, and there was a recent post that said, I made it moment that made you realize that you're actually, what do you mean, what was the I made it moment that made you realize that you've actually reached your dreams?
I'm going to be transparent. I've been a vocalist since the year 2000.
Yeah.
Right from college. I graduated from Miram College, and then I decided to start working as a musician, as a band vocalist. I did my share of paying my dues, being part of show bands, and then later on being signed in record companies and all that. But I realized that I had never released an album of my compositions. Then again, in that span of time, life happened. I fell in love. I raised 2 children. They're still pretty much, growing up in the love of the Lord and all of that. So right now that they're bigger, I wanted to make sure that I would still be able to reach for the dream of releasing my own material, original compositions. And I feel that the question was, how can I teach my children to reach for their dreams if they don't see me reaching for mine? So when I finally was able to put together all these compositions and had it mastered in Los Angeles by the amazing Jet Galindo, it kind of, there was a fruition. All of those years of paying my dues and all of the lessons that came with being a wife and a mother, it added so much substance and depth to what I was writing. And even if there were times where it felt that things weren't happening,
Quote unquote.
I mean, yeah, because obviously as an artist, we know that there are ebbs and flows, right? I mean, the highs and the lows. And there were moments during the pandemic that there weren't that many opportunities to really perform live I felt that, okay, I still need to plant the seeds. I needed to write my music. I still needed to be consistent, to be disciplined with the art and the craft. I still took lessons, vocal training continuously for years. And so all of these things come into play. And then finally, when I released Unravel, people started taking notice that she's still here and she hasn't given up on it. And that speaks to a lot of people apparently, because they feel that all of us at one point have dreams that we may have set aside. But the Lord has been faithful. I'm not going to be overly spiritual about it, but I'm going to be transparent and proud to say that my faith has been a huge instrument in making things, fall into place. I think that trusting that even though you don't see a tangible product in front of you, that process has to be trusted. You have to trust the process. And when finally the music finally got released, there was about like 98,000 streams the following day, and I felt that
Wow.
that's a simple number. That may not be a big deal to others, but it felt like a validation somehow that people were interested in the music, and that's a blessing for me.
It is definitely, and I really, we can really hear your gratitude, with how everything just fell into place, and how after holding on to the vision and trusting the process, it finally came to fruition. Well, we actually really have a lot more questions here, but I already want to play a game. I want to play a game with you because I also really want to hear your next song. But as we do here with Easy Rock Plugged In, we have to play a game first before we get to the new song. So we have an icebreaker called This or That. So it's basically our way of getting to know our artists even more. Pili ka lang, is it this or is it that? Nothing so difficult for you. But let's start it off with this one. This or that, weekdays filled with gigs and tapings or weekdays spent with the kids?
Okay. Wow. So I would just say this or that. Huh?
The weekdays with the gigs and the tapings or with the kids?
Well, weekdays are consumed by children, doing their homework. So I would say that for now, since they're a little older and they're no
Yes.
longer babies, I would say, yeah, this weekdays filled with gigs and tapings. Like today is
Like exactly right today.
I'm
right this
actually
moment.
living a moment with that. So yes.
Hi to the kids, by the way.
Hello,
Mommy's
hello.
on TV, well, online. Busy doing her thing. Okay. Next up, magkwento or magjournal?
Oh,
Well, let me guess. Magkwento.
it's interesting, but it's actually the journal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I love to exchange stories, insights, whatever. But journaling has unleashed a world of creativity for me, and it helps with vocal rest. So journaling is huge for me. Magkwento, I do it when I can, but I learned from a very, very wise artist who is based in New York, who's very popular. I won't say who she is, but she has taught me that vocal rest matters. And when I do clock in the vocal rest, I have to journal.
So your mind is always talking then.
Right.
Your mind is always talking, but
You
when you choose...
encapsulated it well. That's right.
Your mind is always speaking around, but when you choose to do the clock in with the vocal rest, as you said, it's journaling for you then.
Sure.
Do you do the journaling as in yung sobrang in depth with the drinking your water, blah, 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 having 2 cups of coffee today, blah, 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 or just general writing your thoughts?
It's interesting. There are actually 3 ways of doing that. I learned from a very, very amazing veteran journalist named Ali Honasan. She shared 3 tips, if I may.
Of course.
She actually shared that you can actually journal 3 to 4 ways. I'll share with you 3. 1, you can actually write letters to people who may have hurt you.
Or you have strong feelings for, or whatever that may be.
And obviously, you will never send those letters. That would be part of your journal, and then you will leave them, and then you step back days later and you process. Number 2, doing a gratitude journal, maybe writing 3 bullet points, things that you're thankful for the day. You don't have to feel pressured to write 3.
So many words,
Yeah.
paragraph after paragraph, hindi kailangan.
Not at all. Because 3 encapsulated or bullet points, diba? Parang entries are sufficient. And then you go back to it again. It helps you feel empowered after reading that, hey, there's something you be thankful for despite all that you've been, going through. And then the third is that you can write a journal entry about how you wish an event played out.
Oh,
That's
I've
an
never
interesting
heard that
way.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Parang you're also sharing that I wish this is the way it turned out. So it like helps you process the things that the emotions that you may not have tapped into, like possibly regret, possibly something that you had to release, little ounces of bitterness that you may not have been releasing. And then later on, looking back, you know later on that, okay, I felt this way. Now, what am I going to do about it? So there.
I've never heard of the third one. Something I could try out, but definitely the first one. If not a letter to someone, it's always a letter to myself. Yeah, and then the second one is the definitely bullet points of what happened today or the things that you're so grateful for. But the third one is very interesting, and we could try that out next time. How about this or that? Be the one na magpakilig or be the one na kinikilig.
You know, if you've been married as long as I have, I would choose both, but I have to choose one, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
if I am correct at this point, knowing my husband's love language, I can also be the one na nagpapakilig also. Because, men, they don't necessarily express themselves or they're not the most verbose of people. But if you have a certain way of making your husband feel
Kilig.
empowered, and then that, yung kumbaga diba, how? I wouldn't mind doing that because every day my husband is able to show me and make me feel kilig. So I think that it's just but right that as his helpmate and wife, I'm able to do the same for him.
Yung ako yung kinilig. Ano ba? That was nice. That was sweet. And that is also great advice to everyone else. It's not just the girls who always need to receive the kilig. We also got to treat our men. Now to find a guy. Anyway, moving on.
I love it.
Let's talk about your single because speaking of kilig, the single you are now promoting is called Still Kilig, and it's part of your latest album called Unravel. And accordingly, the album talks about unraveling a much more personal side of Adjeng. Can you share with us the creative process about from the song to the whole album, if you can?
Okay. There was a Philscap songwriting camp that was held in Hacienda Isabela. Interestingly enough, the songwriters who were involved were asked to write an original song by picking two words, two English words from a fishbowl, and two Filipino words, two Tagalog words from another fishbowl. Gino Cruz, one of the arrangers and songwriters there, challenged me. He said, pick one Tagalog word and one English word and do your thing. So we were given a specific amount of time, just a few hours, to come up with a song and then present before our mentors and then record the next day. So I picked from the Tagalog bowl, sahog. Such a random word.
I thought it was gonna be
Sahog.
kilig.
Sahog. And then the other one, in the English word was sync, S-Y-N-C.
Okay.
So I said, I was writing and writing and writing, and then I wasn't satisfied. And they said we had to record a few hours the following day. So I woke up at around 4 in the morning. And in Hacienda Isabela kasi it's so nice and so quiet.
Peaceful.
But that night it was raining and I was missing my husband so much and the kids. So I was always thinking of them the whole time. So I was thinking, so what am I gonna do? I still don't have a song. At 4:30ish a.m. I woke up. I went outside, found a day bed. I tried calling my husband, but I couldn't reach him because of the signal. So sabi ko, okay, here we go. That's right. At around 5 o'clock in the morning, the song was done, and I was ready to record. And the inspiration really came from contemplating about the years we'd been together. And that was it. That was the substance of that song.
Is the song out? Is the song part of the album?
Yes. It's the focus track of my Unravel album.
And it does have the two words.
Yes.
Sink and
Sink
sahog.
and sahog. You're gonna listen to it, and I think you will find it quite interesting.
I will. I definitely. I'm gonna check it out later. I'm so curious about that. Thank you. You're such a storyteller. I'm sure you are, obviously, because of how you write your music, but also how you really speak to people. How you're talking to us in the interview now. But we're hanging on to your every word. And the way you describe things, it's so fun. You paint a picture with your words, and I love that. I'm having so much fun. I wish the interview would not end, but we do have a few more questions for you. Back to Still Kilig. It's a reflection on you and your husband's marriage, celebrating the journey, love and commitment over 18 very good years. So what would you say is the, quote, secret ingredient to keeping the marriage going.
I think every couple has their own recipe for kilig, right? But I feel that, and I'm not trying to be overly spiritual about it, but you have to have the spiritual foundations of having Jesus as the center of your relationship. Because there will be days when you feel weak, you feel challenged and swept by the storms of life. And obviously, we're only human. So we need to lean against and lean towards the cornerstone that is unbreakable and unshakable, and that's Jesus. So that's the number one ingredient. Number two, you have
Ito
to
yung mga sahog eh.
number,
Guys.
number two, you have to find a way to understand each other's love language. And it turns out that sometimes the love language of the one you love is totally different from yours.
Exactly.
So sometimes, even if you try to pour so much effort into expressing yourself and, showing that person, if that person's love language does not align with what you just did, it may fall short. So it takes a lot of learning. I think it's hard work. And I think number three, one of the big ingredients would be finding excellent mentors who can actually speak to your life.
That's
and
why may ninong and ninang mang tayo.
there you go. Or it could be someone who can actually speak to your life in the sense that they can point out your flaws, blind spots. We have to be humble when you're in a relationship or a marriage, because I feel that sometimes we feel we know everything.
Yes, yes.
And we really don't. So 19 years going to forever, and we're still learning.
19 years to forever. Stop it! Oh my gosh! Masyado na akong kinikilig. Ano ba? But yeah, with regards to what you mentioned about love language, talaga naniniwala ko that so many people think it's overrated. But if you just study your love language
You
of
want to know how you want to be loved.
Yes!
And you have to be able to communicate
Exactly.
that. Because some people, they say, hindi, alam mo na dapat yan. You know what? That's totally false. That's totally false. When my husband and I started recognizing that, I would actually ask him, do you like the way, I take care of you after a day's work? Or how would you want me to take care of you? And I would also compliment him when he does something for me. And then that would be an affirmation, I mean, even in friendship, let's not even go to love yet.
Yes,
Parang sa friends when there are certain people who have great expectations about the friendship, they don't know na feeling mo, gusto mo pa rin marinig sa kanila to be encouraged ka, di ba? You still want encouragement from them, but they don't give that.
Yes,
Because they feel, hindi, alam mo na yan eh. But,
Kaya mo na yan.
but realistically, you do want certain affirmations, whether it's in words or in acts of service or time or just a pat on the back, which is touch, di ba? I mean, and quality time. There's a lot to explore. So, and relationships, whether it's love or friendships, I mean, it takes hard work. And anything that's worth keeping is worth
Keeping
working
worth
hard
saving.
for.
That's so true. Well, there you go. So much wisdom in one Easy Rock plugged in, and I love it. Well, one more question. Do you have any advice to couples who wish to keep their relationships around as long as you and your husband? I'm sure you've already given us a few, the key ingredients, the sahog. But yeah, like, talagang pasok eh. But anyway, yeah. Any advice to the couples who are, looking forward to forevers as well?
I think there's no tried and tested rule. I mean, I think that you'll have to find your own recipe for kilig, but making sure always, like I said, to center your relationship on faith. Because if both of you believe in the same values and the same God, and both of you are propelled to love God with all your heart. If you are able to love God with all your heart, you are able to love each other better. And I think that's one of the best things I can share. And there's so much work to be done on my end. I mean, neither of us are perfect, but I feel that we're working towards that. And you can only do your best. But if you rely on, on the divine mercy and the grace of the Lord, that He will carry you through, because even in your weaknesses, His grace is sufficient for you. So I'm just eager to say that even couples who have gone through so much pain, I mean, we have been forgiven greatly. So we have to learn to greatly forgive as well.
Adjeng, everybody. So again, so much insight, but we do have to wrap things up. I would love to speak with you so much more, get a lot more thoughts out of you because you have so much, Parang feel ko we can just get more and more from you, but that's probably abusing you. So we're
Not
gonna
at
stop.
all. Guest,
We're gonna
make me a
stop.
guest again.
Yes, we would love that actually. Next time, maybe when we hear the song with the words sink and sahog, maybe you could perform that live here next time. But for now, we gotta listen to your single again. It's called Still Kilig.
This is it.
And
Yes.
before we do that, though, please invite our listeners to go check you out on your social media accounts. And if you have other gigs or upcoming events, please do also share that as well.
Thank you so much, Shai, for this opportunity. I would like to invite everybody to please stream my album Unravel by Adjeng. It's out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Deezer, and all digital platforms. And on May 13, I will be with my fellow musicians. We'll be performing at Red Rhino in Greenfield in Mandaluyong. So it's a bar gig, and I would love for you to see us perform my songs live. And of course, please follow me on Instagram, Adjeng VSB. I'm also on Facebook. Just type Adjeng, and I have a page there. So to be updated for all of these. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
There you go. Once again, we've had Adjeng here give us so much love and insight shared on the show Easy Rock Plugged In. And we cannot wait to have you back here again next time when we talk about maybe another album or more of your singles. But for now, this has been DJ Shai of Easy Rock Plugged In. And it's time for us to listen to Adjeng's Still Kilig.
18 years na tayo, akalain mo yun. From courtship straight to marriage, delat at lechon. Minsa'y naiinis, minsa'y nagkakatampuhan. Ano nga bang sahog ng ating pagmamahalan? Sa 1 teaspoon selos, 10 tablespoons ng lambing. Dagdagan ng date nights, 10 cups more understanding. Haluan ng 1 kilong halik. Unlimited yakap na kay higpit. 18 years na tayo, and I'm still feeling. 18 years na tayo, us two became 4. 2 babies and tuition fees, todo kayod pa more. Minsa'y naiinis, minsa'y meron pang iyakan. Ano nga bang sahog ng ating paninindigan? Sa 1 teaspoon selos, 10 tablespoons ng lambing. Dagdagan ng date nights, 10 cups more understanding. Haluan ng 1 kilong halik. Unlimited yakap na kay higpit. 18 years na tayo, and I'm still killing. Oh, 18 years na tayo, and I'm still killing. Insig lagi tayong dalawa. 18 years patungo sa forever and ever and ever, never and ever. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lambingan.
Dagdagan ng day nights, 10 cups more
Kulitan
understanding.
pa.
Anong isang kilong halik.
Hanggang
Limited yakap na kay
ngayon,
ibig.
kinikilig.
Tablespoon sa lambing.
Labing ang
Dagdagan ng day nights,
pag-ibig.
10 cups more understanding.
Haluan ng isang kilong halik. Unlimited yakap na kay higpit. Whoa, 18 years na tayo. 18 years na tayo. 18 years na tayo. And I'm still kilig. I'm still kilig.
1 teaspoon selos, 10 tablespoons sa lambing.